Okay, everyone. So before I show the video, you may have watched it already. There was an altercation at a Tim Hortons in Fort Wayne, Indiana, that exploded into a physical smackdown with hands being thrown. Now, it was caught on the surveillance video and ended with the death of the customer, Anita Grayson, age 75. Now, the customer had gone through the drive through. She ordered a coffee and donut. The order was wrong. So the customer, it seems, parked her car, got out of the car, went into the Tim Hortons to berate the employee who got the order wrong. The employee was a 17-year-old young man. Now, the customer wouldn't stop yelling, so his manager intervened. The manager is a 20-year-old female. Now, both employees are telling the customer to leave because she's berating them and causing a scene. Let's watch. Okay, so the customer there is sitting on the bench. Now, the rest of the video shows her making a call on her cell phone. One of the employees comes back, not to kick her in the face, no, but to bring her a cup of water. So the customer lays on the ground at that point. And later, an ambulance is called. The EMTs find the customer unresponsive. She's dead. Okay. Later, her family says she had a heart condition. She's 75, so I'm not surprised she had a heart condition. Everything else about the altercation was shocking. Now, I can only speculate because there's no audio on the surveillance footage. Now, as I watch the young manager's reaction to an old lady who's apparently lost her mind, the young manager is not used to dealing with older folks. That's my speculation. At some point, some seniors can lose their minds. Another possibility is the old lady had lost her hearing. Okay, when you lose your hearing, sometimes you speak more loudly than the people around you. Now, the young manager is only 20 years old, so her parents are probably no more than 50. That would be my speculation. Now, people usually don't lose their faculties at age 50 as they do at age 75. That's why I'm theorizing that the young manager hasn't dealt with older folks who have lost their faculties. Now, grandparents often are in the picture in many families, but not extensively unless they're raising their grandchildren. Now, it's possible the young manager will be criminally charged. Now, that Tim Hortons location closed at the time of the incident and hasn't reopened, and that was about a week ago. Now, that gives us another clue. My guess is that the young manager will be fired. There's no audio, so there's a lot missing from the incident, a lot we don't know. Now, the police must be investigating, so the witness accounts could fill in the words that were exchanged, and there could be a civil action. The family of the customer is now represented by civil rights attorney Ben Crump. Now, in my view, if the manager had been a more mature individual, or if she had been trained to de escalate, and if she had been educated about what happens to some folks as they get older, the tragedy might have been avoided. Now, I say might, though, because we don't control the future, of course not. All we can do is our best. And the young people on site at that location weren't given the tools to de escalate, weren't given the tools to recognize what the problem might be. And that's the corporation's fault. In my view, the corporation has to take responsibility for failure to train its employees. Now, as I watched the video, that's what I saw. Now, I've read the commentary online, and it's all focused on who was more to blame, the customer or the manager. Now, no one talked about the corporation's responsibility, so that's why I thought I would make this video. And I just wanted to highlight some of the comments that I read online. Now, here's one. They should reopen and with new coffee called F Around and Find Out. Here's another one. Went in for a donut and left with wings. This person says it was the customer's fault. Don't start a fight over a coffee and have a heart attack. Now, this individual says it was sent to the prosecutor's office for review for a reason, and I will leave it at that. Someone else commented, now defending yourself from a minority is a crime. Now, this series of comments says Gen Z ain't taking any more of baby boomers' crap. Reply says Gen Z should have controlled herself. There was only a 50-year difference in strength there. A third person says, yeah, Gen Z should have allowed the old lady's assault to continue. I mean, how immature to defend herself. And someone else commenting on that thread says, it takes someone in congestive heart failure for the babies to handle it. Real proud moments. Now, about that final comment, the young manager is only 20 years old, and she didn't know if the customer might have had a handgun or other weapon. Now, the customer should not have struck the young manager in the face, okay? I believe everyone will agree about that. The family of the customer might argue, though, that the young manager touched the customer first, but it was a light touch with her palm, just to calm her down, from what I could tell. Now, the manager didn't forcefully push the customer. The manager did not push. Now, she just put her hand up to try to calm the customer and keep her at bay. Now, I believe the young manager will be fired, though, because she responded to the customer's violence with more violence. And now the customer is dead. At the very least, the manager will be fired. She could sue the company, though, as well for failure to train her in de-escalation and in recognizing signs of mental decline in older customers. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe.